तुम हमेशा ऐसे ही बकवास करती हो या आज कोई स्पेशल ओकेजन है?
और अगर रामगढ़ गए तो समझो रामगढ़ गए, क्योंकि तांगा भी रामगढ़ का है और हम भी रामगढ़ के हैं।
सीरियसली यार, आजकल तो जब वो मुंह खोलते ही मन करता है मुंह में कुछ ठूस दूं।
Women have long and often been colored as the over-talkative and gossipy gender. Even though this stereotype casually cuts across various countries and cultures, no one really questions its truth or even the logic behind it. So we did some research and reached out to an expert to understand why do we think women talk too much. Common proverbs like कितनी बातूनी है, लड़कियों को कम बोलना चाहिए, many women many words, girls should be seen and not heard are tailor-made to trivialize women's voices. Why?
If you even go back to ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, you see that, first of all, women were excluded in most of what they talk about. But when women appeared, it was usually to comment on the virtuous woman, which would be one that was in the domestic sphere. Women who tried to get into public life were admonished as that being an inappropriate role for women. But if you fast forward to the Middle Ages, when women actually did start having more of a voice because of the Black Plague, at that time women became more employable because there were more opportunities, and they also had more of a life in the public markets and in spinning circles. They were around more and they talked more to other people. That can be dangerous because women would tell each other things and they would complain about things, the way that the local government was treating them. And they started being prosecuted for crimes called sins of the tongue. And so they were shown in public wearing what's called a scold's bridle that literally held a woman's mouth shut. And then they were paraded in public to be shamed for their speech. And it served as an example to other women not to talk out of turn. So again, this is just sort of a reinforcement of the idea that women's tongues are not positive attributes and that we shouldn't hear from them. And therefore, when women raise their voices in these contexts in which they weren't invited, it was talking too much.
The feminist movement of the 60s and the 70s tried to break these social and linguistic barriers, and while they amplified women's voices like never before, we still have a long way to go. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was recently called a fucking bitch by a congressman. Closer home, family WhatsApp groups are filled with jokes about women who talk too much and ask for too much, while the husband is always a bechara who has to tolerate it all. Another nuance to this is, women who talk a lot, like Kareena Kapoor Khan in Jab We Met, are seen as attractive and bubbly, but only as long as what they are saying is pleasing, quirky, fun or appeasing in some way. So how does this translate for the 21st century modern woman in the workplace? Repressed women's voices echo loudly in the hallways and boardrooms of sectors dominated by men. Research tells us that women get less credit for their ideas as opposed to men who are easily lauded for the same. So even if we assume that women talk a lot, they are mostly not being heard.
Almost all research on men's interactions in business settings suggests that men basically hold the floor, the conversational floor, much more than women. So men actually talk either equal to women in most contexts or more than women in certain contexts like schools and boardrooms. From a woman's perspective, men often talk too much because they drown out women's voices. And we are not empowered in many cases to silence them. Men hardly ever think they talk too much.
This also contributes to gender discrimination at the workplace and keeps women from reaching leadership positions. The silencing is not just external, it is also internal. Women learn to shut up because they receive negative feedback for speaking up. Women must not buy into these stereotypes and reclaim the floor by politely interrupting the interrupters and calling out colleagues for taking credit. They also need to stand up for each other. They should talk as much as they like and not talk if they don't. As for the question of women talking too much and men less, it's really one's choice to talk or not. Words wield power and everyone should be able to use their power for their own good.